Very excited to be here. It's my privilege to be a part of this very ambitious venture, Arab Social Media Influencer Summit, with an ambition to really talk about the role of social media in the region, the growth of digital technology, and how all of you participate in what has become a core part of the fabric of everyday life. What I would like to talk with you about today is a perspective on how to think about Twitter. Most of you use Twitter, I'm sure, quite actively. You wouldn't be at this summit if you were not power social media users. But maybe from the company's perspective, I can share with you a way to think about Twitter that's different and unique and helps you in the way you interpret what's happening on Twitter and use Twitter yourself. We'll also talk about the exciting ways that Twitter is being used here in the region. So, Twitter in daily life in the region and around the world. The first thing I want to share with you is how we would define Twitter. Twitter is a communications platform that has 4 interesting characteristics. 1, it's live. 2, it's public. 3, it's conversational. And 4, it's distributed. What do I mean by that? What I mean is our lives are a series of moments. And in that moment, you have the opportunity to use Twitter to communicate how you feel, to communicate an opinion, to communicate an observation. That ability to communicate in the moment is unique to this platform. Secondly, it's public. When you express yourself, the whole world can see what you think, what you believe, and it's a way for the world to come together around shared interests. Third, it's conversational. Most of media traditionally has been about broadcast, one direction communication of information. By being conversational, it means we can have a two-way dialogue. I can tell you what I think, and you can tell me what you think, and we can have a conversation from there. And finally, distributed. Tweets flow everywhere. You may see tweets in the newspaper, in a magazine. You may see it on television. You may see it on other websites. So we can take this unit of a tweet, this core expression of someone's point of view, and we can spread it around the internet and in offline media as well. So these 4 characteristics together, we feel, distinguishes Twitter as a unique communication platform in the world. And the result is amazing, that we see 500 million tweets every day. And each of these tweets is an expression of someone's thought, someone's viewpoint. Now, we have a value at the company which says we'd like to reach everybody in the world. Because if we do that, think about what it means. It means that if every person on the planet is able to take their thoughts and express it as content, publishing it on a platform like Twitter, we can then view what is being shared on Twitter as the collective consciousness of the world. We can put our finger on the pulse of how the world feels, how a small community feels, how a country feels, how a particular community around an interest feels about something. And that's, I think, very powerful. And people are using this platform through mobile devices. Twitter was founded using the format of SMS. SMS allows 160 characters. Twitter allows 140 characters, with 20 characters for your Twitter handle or your Twitter identity. And so Twitter being connected to the mobile device makes sense, because when you'd like to express yourself in the moment, the easiest way to do that is through your mobile device, since it's always with you. And here in MENA, we see the same user behavior, in fact, a much more intense usage of the platform. And that's a big part of why I'm here, because Twitter loves MENA, and we think and hope MENA loves Twitter. 76% of people in the region use Twitter every day. It's one of the most intense forms of usage we see in the world. Not only to mention, MENA represents the fastest growing user base as a region for Twitter in the world as well. I made this comment 2 years ago when I was in the region, and I can say it again proudly. And this is not what you think about when you think about the internet. When people think about platforms on the internet, they imagine young teenage boys using a tool like Twitter, and that's not true. Twitter is a reflection of MENA as a culture, as a people, as a society. Reasonably well balanced across men and women, and reasonably well represented across various age groups. So when I think about Twitter, what I love when I see this is we can reasonably say that Twitter is a good approximation or reflection of how the region and how the people are feeling and what they believe. It is not skewed to one group or the other. It really is everybody. And Twitter, as I mentioned, is most prominently used around big moments. When something happens in Egypt or Dubai or Saudi Arabia or another part of the region, it tends to create conversation on Twitter. And these moments can be cultural, they can be entertainment, they can be sports. The extent to which and the diversity with which Twitter is used is amazing here in the region. Culturally, we've seen tremendous use of Twitter around Ramadan and Eid as well. You can see here through this chart that in 2013 we saw a tremendous amount of usage at this time, but it grew substantially in 2014. And who knows what we'll see in 2015. Hopefully I come back next year and I have some good news to report about how Twitter was used during Ramadan and Eid. But it's not just about people tweeting about a cultural moment like this. It's actually about how it's used throughout the day to reflect the changes as the day progresses. Because this is a real-time expression about how you feel. So people will start tweeting as we approach the time to break the fast. You have a spike in tweets talking about that moment and what it means to people. We also see tremendous usage in entertainment. A very significant part of our lives is television. We watch television, we enjoy dramas, we enjoy reality television, we enjoy the news. And when things happen on television, we talk about it on Twitter. And that's no different here in the region. One of our long-standing partners has been NBC and the work we've done around The Voice. We've worked very closely with them for several years to produce an integrated experience. So when you watch The Voice, you can also talk about your favorite contestants and moments during the program across the season.
هلا عنا تغريدة إليك من زميلك ربيع جابر بيقول everyone that loves me please vote for هالة القصير tomorrow today we need to make her and Mr. عاصر حلاني win the voice vote يعني عم بدعي ربيع كل الناس تصوت لك هالة وهو زميل إليك قديش فرحانة إنه زملائك موجودين معك هون وربيع عم يدعمك.
عن جد سعادتي اليوم ما بتنوصف يعني شفتهم كتير اشتقت لهم بدي اقول له لربيع انا كتير بحبك واشتقنا لك كلنا اكيد شكرا حبيبي على هيك دعمك وعلى تشجيعك كمان سمعت انه في تغريده من مراد
بريقي الفايز بالموسم الاول من The Voice
اكيد لهيك ما
So what you can see here is TV becomes not just something you watch, but something you participate in, increasing the engagement and making the experience richer, which is why we've enjoyed such good relationships with many television broadcasters, because we fundamentally believe that television makes Twitter better by giving us things to talk about. And we like to think we make Twitter a more engaging experience because we make the television experience an experience about participation, not just about observation. Similarly, probably one of the best examples of a use of Twitter here in the region is in a partnership with Endemol around Star Academy. Star Academy used Twitter in a 360-degree manner, integrating hashtags into the program, running quizzes and experiences during the show and behind the scenes, so you could really experience not just the program that is produced and shown, but everything leading up to the program and beyond. And you'll see here a quick snapshot of that. How many people have seen use of Twitter in these programs, watched these programs? I'm curious. Familiar, right? So that's the interesting thing, that what I love is that Twitter is not being treated as a technology. It's getting deeply integrated into the mainstream experience. It feels a part of the culture. And that's what we try to make sure happens. And you can see all the various tweets from the program, including breaking the news of the winner on Twitter itself. And here you can see, actually during the broadcast, the host is using what we call the Twitter mirror to take pictures during the program that can be tweeted out during the live broadcast. So it's an amazing use of the platform, and it's happening here in MENA, which is very exciting. The result of this is that, not surprisingly, the volume of conversation about television on Twitter in the region has grown 200% year over year. And we expect this to continue. A close colleague of mine, Ahmed, here in the audience, who does a lot of work with television broadcasters in the region, is working hard to make this happen. And we also see a great use of Twitter during sports. Sports are experienced as a live experience. When a goal is scored, we want to shout and we want to cheer. When our team is losing, we want to express our sadness. When something unexpected happens, we want to talk about it. And a great place to do that is on Twitter as the sporting match is unfolding. Around the world and here in the region, we all love football, and we were all excited by the World Cup last year. And I'll show you a brief example of the kind of engagement that we saw on Twitter during matches during the World Cup last year.
To be Neymar. Neymar scores. He has nerves of steel. Julio Cesar now will want to be the hero. Off the post. Brazil win in the most dramatic of circumstances.
So to give you an interesting statistic, during the World Cup, matches like this, and you saw the rise in the volume of tweets right as the ball was kicked and the goal was scored, right as the ball was kicked and he missed, you saw a huge increase in the volume of tweets, because we want to talk about what we just saw. We want to experience it together as a shared community around this interest for football. But an interesting statistic is that many matches during the World Cup saw a higher volume of tweets per minute than the tweets that we saw during the Oscars. Some of you may remember the famous tweet by Ellen DeGeneres during the Oscars. If you do, single matches during the World Cup exceeded that level of tweet engagement. So the world loves football, the world loves World Cup, and we're really excited to see the integration of Twitter and football and sport. And even in events here locally, like the Dubai tennis tournament and other experiences locally, we've seen tremendous integration between Twitter and local sporting events as well. But it's not just about big moments. It's also about everyday experiences. We see people talk about a variety of things they care about in their life. People talking about cars, talking about phones, talking about fashion, talking about movies and music, talking about real estate, talking about sports. So not only do we see people use Twitter around these big, iconic moments around the world and in the region, we also see people talking about their everyday interests, the thing they care about. And that's what makes it a daily experience. So what does all of this mean? It means that with all of these people tweeting, expressing how they feel and their views, we have this interesting window into people's interests and their intent. And when you have something like that, of course, you have commercial interest. You have companies and brands and advertisers who would like to find a way to authentically participate in these conversations. And we have wonderful examples of brands and companies that have done that here in the region and around the world. Before I show you some of those examples, I want to share some research we did that shows you the level of emotional intensity that people bring to the use of Twitter. So where are we going in the future? Where do we want to take the Twitter platform to continue to help people connect with each other around shared interests and develop a voice and be able to consume things that they care about? The first thing I'll share with you is that we are trying to build Twitter against a much broader and more ambitious vision than previously. For us, Twitter has 3 different communities. The first is the one that you know. 300 million people, almost 300 million people on Twitter, actively using Twitter every day to express their voice and to consume information related to their interest. But in addition, what we see is 500 million people coming to Twitter every month uniquely to find some information. They're not logged into Twitter. They're not using Twitter in the way that you traditionally know, but they're looking for information. Now, why are they doing that? They see something on television, they search for it, and they go to the Twitter page. They see an artist or a celebrity or a government official, and they look for their profile on Twitter. So we will be working very hard to make sure that Twitter is a meaningful experience for this community as well. And finally, we have people who are connecting or touching Twitter off of Twitter. They may be seeing it in another application on their mobile device, or they may be experiencing it on television or in a newspaper. Today, we touch 1 billion people, unique mobile phones, through Mopub, which is a company we acquired, touching people in mobile apps around the world. So collectively, we know that Twitter's impact goes far beyond people who just are using Twitter on the platform. They're touching users who come to Twitter looking for information about their heroes, about leaders, and about interesting information they may see on television or elsewhere. And we're connecting with over 1 billion mobile devices around the world, an opportunity to connect with people through mobile applications. So I'm going to talk to you about our product roadmap very briefly and how we're building out new products and experiences to connect with this broader audience. So the first thing we want to do on Twitter is bring video to Twitter and make video a core part of your experience. I've heard from many people when they say, I tweet a lot and I tweeted about important things in my life. I wish I could have tweeted a video, not just text or image. It would have had so much more emotional connection. And so today we are making available the opportunity for anybody to use their phone to create a video. Here you have an example of a tourist visiting Las Vegas who is taking a video through Twitter, capturing images of what they see. And you can see you can create different video segments. And soon what you'll see is you can edit these segments and mix and match them together. So you can not only take video, but you can be your own video editor, creating an experience that's unique, and you can tweet it out right from inside Twitter. So we're really excited about bringing video to the real-time conversational experience around the world. In fact, what we're seeing right now, it's a very interesting phenomenon. People are responding to tweets with videos. The response is coming in the form of a video. And brands are getting into this action as well. MasterCard building a really interesting video through Twitter for their audience. We believe video is going to make Twitter an even more exciting and rich experience. And as I mentioned, we're also going to create a content-rich experience for people who don't log into Twitter. So when you come to Twitter to look for something, you'll be able to see a list of content experiences from Twitter organized by content category or genre. You'll see a quick demonstration of that here. Sports and entertainment, lifestyle, cooking, music, humor, novelty. So now Twitter will become this place where you can very quickly explore all of your interests. And lastly, we're going to be working hard to make sure that Twitter is pushed out to all the applications that you use, so it's deeply integrated into those experiences as well. Here you can see two partners who are doing this today, Flipboard and ESPN. In fact, you'll see ESPN has made Twitter one of the 3 main tabs in their application. So when you want to get some information about what's happening in the sports world right now, this Now tab is a Twitter timeline of sports tweets. So you can imagine all the applications that may want to integrate tweets into their own mobile application experience. This is a major area of focus for us as well. So hopefully from what I've shared with you, you can see that Twitter is this wonderful world of opinions and views and information, allowing people to express their opinion and allowing people to consume what they're interested in. And when we do that, it's also an opportunity for advertisers and brands to participate in those conversations in an authentic way. And we're building Twitter to make it richer and more connected to people around the world, not just inside Twitter, but on other applications as well. But Twitter is only as good as the quality of the conversation in your local culture and community. And realizing that, we can be a global company, but we'll only be excellent if we think locally. And with that, I'm very happy to announce today that we will be launching our presence here in MENA with an office in Dubai very shortly. We'll be building a team. I'm personally very proud to announce this because 3 years ago I came here and I said that MENA was an important market and an important society for us to connect with through Twitter. And we come full circle today to a point where we're able to share with you a clear commitment to the region. And I'm very, very proud to announce that. I look forward to talking with all of you about that and how we can work more closely as partners. We wouldn't be able to do this without a close partnership with Connect Ads, who we worked with to engage with brands, agencies, partners, and users that got us to this point that allows us to feel so positive about the future of Twitter here in MENA. So with that, I'm going to turn over the stage to two friends who are power users and observers of social media and Twitter as well. I think they'll have a lot to share with you about Twitter in the region. Thank you very much.